Hi, my name is Coco Fernandez. I was born and raised in Peru, South America, between horses, Peruvian San Thoroughbreds. I came here in 1989 to attend school, Oklahoma Farrier College. And after I graduated, I moved to California, and I've been living here in California ever since. For the past 16 years, I've been doing a lot of champions, national champions, like Me Llamo Peru, Ventarrones, Norte y Sur, Rojizo, Amareta, Tabernero, etc. Also, I've been doing a lot of champions in other breeds as well. Here in this tape, I want to show you my way of doing these horses, of doing a performance trimming. There is, as we know, different ways and different styles and different methods and different theories, but this is just my way, and for the past 16 years I've been doing it that way and being very successful with it. So I want to share this with you, and I hope you enjoy it. So here I'm going to try to explain you why I do what I do, what I trim, where I nip. The hoof is telling me, or the hoof is going to tell me where needs to be trimmed. I'm not designing myself. The hoof is the one that tells me where needs to be done. So first, I'll clean my clit here. Clits are these two holes. Then the second step, I need to pare my sole in order to see how much wool I'm gonna take out. So first, I pare my sole. Including the bars. These two bars are an extension of this wall. If you notice, the wall comes here and then goes in. I'm going to explain what the bars are for and why we need to trim them. So why I want to do this, why these bars needs to be flushed with the sole when I trim the sole. If you see here, there's the two bars. This is the inside of the hoof, and this is the two bars. These two bars. So that frog, it's holding, it's laying on top of these two bars like this. So the hoof, when it hits the ground, expands. It's opened up. And the bars will open up enough to open the frog, the sensitive frog, and filled up with blood. When the hoof gets off the ground, the hoof contract, the bars make the frog contract, and it'll push the blood up the leg. So expand, fill up with blood, takes off, squeeze the blood up. So that's why it's so important. If you notice here, these two bars are too grown compared to this. So what happened when the bars are too grown is not going to allow the hoof to expand enough to work, to fill up with blood. So we don't have good circulation in this hoof if we don't trim these bars. So I'm just gonna clean the tips. I'm gonna make dirt releases in my frog. Just cleaning the these two tips. And actually the frog will shed twice a year. The frog shed twice a year. So at some point you're gonna see that part of the frog is missing or the frog is missing. Don't worry about it. The new one is pushing the old one out. So then what I need to do here, if you notice the hoof is concave. It's not flat. It's concave. And that's what I want to keep it that way. But I want to get rid of excess wall. So what I do, how I do it, I try to cut where the sole meets the wall. Okay, this is the wall and this is the sole. So I'm going to try to nip where both meet. So I'm still going to have a concave hoof and I'm going to get rid of wall. Like this first. Always I want to trim the heels at the wider part of the frog. So right there, I have still a concave foot. It's not flat, still concave. I got rid of wall. But now I have this toe that is too long. This toe I want to get rid of also. So what I do here, instead of doing this and sacrifice depth, if I do this, the horse is gonna go lame. So then I'm getting rid of this excess toe this way. So I'm not sacrificing any depth. I'm not going deep into the sensitive sole. I'm just getting rid of that excess wall to make the breakover easier. And I still have a concave foot. Now we're gonna dress it up. The hoof. So there we have a finished product. Here I want to show you the frog. It's shading. Look. See that this is the old frog still attached and the new frog coming up. Usually you don't notice it. Usually this old frog will fall off and the new one is there and you don't even notice it. But here it's almost in the process of changing the old one for the new one. So we're going to just deattach it, clean the new frog, clean the bars, clean the sole. And then we have a hoof ready to trim this wall. We're going to have to get rid of some of this excess wall here on the sides. But you see the new frog is coming out. It's already good and mature in compare to the other one that, you know, that just came off of that one. And if we don't catch it on time, we don't even notice that this happened. This happened twice a year. Usually happens in the spring to get ready for the summer, and in the fall to get ready for the winter. My sole and the wall meets right there. I don't want to trim more wall here. What I want to do is I want to get rid of these side walls, these flares. So here it is, still the hoof still concave. The horse is walking on this sole in this wall. The sole is concave, it's not touching the ground. Now we dressed up the hoof. And we have a finished product right there. No flares. It's short toe and concave. Here we have the same thing. We have a hoof that needs to be trimmed. First of all, I'm cleaning the clit of my frog. And if we notice, it's shedding frog also. This is the old frog, and the new frog, it's pushing up, it's coming up, it's maturing. It's not mature yet. So, because he flaps, I'm just gonna cut it right there. Make dirt releases. Then I'm gonna get rid of this sole. You see this sole? It's old. It's growing over. It grows and it grows over the new sole. This is the old sole, right there. So this is what I want to clean first. See how it comes in chunks? It's not attached no more. Once I get it out of the way, I clean it up a little better. Make sure I clean the bars. So now if you notice, I have my sole trim up, and then I have the wall, which is a little bit too high. There's a little too much wall. So I'm going to try to nip my hoof where the sole meets the wall, right there. So the heel also needs to be trimmed at the wider spot of the frog, because the hoof grows forward, the heel grows forward. So the more forward you grow, the more off balance you are. So as well as all the wall, the heel needs to be also addressed. So now I'm rusting it level. I still have concave sole, but too much wall, very thick wall here in the toe. So instead of cutting it like that again, I'm just going to put my nippers perpendicular and get rid of some wall, just like that. You should trim it, you know, like quarter of an inch off that white line. So I'm still concave. The horse still walking on that wall, and I'm ready to bring it forward and dress it. So I'm making here a bordón or bumper. Bordón is in Spanish, and here I call it bumper. So there's no edge here, it's flat. Just a quarter of an inch. You don't need to do it too much, just a little bit, just enough to where any stones or rocks is not gonna chip, it's not gonna catch an edge and chip it. So then we have the finished product right there. Good looking hoof, short in the toe, concave, good to go. You can compare it to the other one. We have the same length, same depth, but shorter toe. To make it break over a little easier, try to get him in good gating position and natural trim. Perfect scenario. Here is the frog changing, the bars growing. See that bar? We need to get rid of all this. So clean the frog. See that bar? Need to get rid of that. Now clean the sole. So now once we clean the sole, we can meeting the sole with the wall. Backing up my heel. Same in the other side. Trim the excess wall. Backing up the heel. And then we can level it up. So now I'm level. See how much toe I have there. We need to get rid of that toe. Again with your nippers, like that. Now we bring it forward and dress it out. Here I want to explain you the danger of growing an underslung heel. Here there is a model of a hoof, and I have the heel part here and the toe part here. This is the suspensory ligament that is I have as a rubber band. It shows what it's gonna do, this suspensory ligament, as we change the angles of this forward growing hoof. As we load the weight of the horse in this hoof right now, the hoof capsule is supporting the weight of the horse and not the suspensory ligament as we see right now. In 6 weeks, this hoof is gonna grow 1/4 of an inch. So what is gonna happen if we grow this hoof forward, thinking that we're doing good to growing this heel? So look what is gonna happen. Now all the weight of the horse is being supported by this suspensory ligament. So the horse is breaking down, just standing on the stall right now, as we see. So here what we do is we trim the hoof, and now that weight is being supported by the hoof capsule again, and not by the suspensory ligament. The suspensory ligament is loose and the weight is being supported by the hoof. The typical example of underslung heel. Look how the heel is here. All the hoof grows forward. When the hoof grows it doesn't grow to the ground, it grows forward. As you see, the angle here of the heel is growing forward. Look, instead of being like that, it's like this. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to back those heels as much as we can and take that toe off, that wall, for breakover easier. We're trying to get the whole hoof back underneath the horse as much as we can because it grows forward. The more forward it grows, the more support we lose. So here, I'm backing up my heel. Okay, now my support is here instead of right there. The two difference, point of support. So same here, I want to back up the heel as much as I can. And trim that wall. So I back up my heel to the widest part of the frog. This mare broke down in 1995. Today is 2005, 10 years ago. And she broke down obviously because her conformation, if you see she's post-legged. There's no angle here. Should be an angle in the hock. And it's all straight, so we only have one shock absorber, which is this fetlock instead of two, which will be the hock and the fetlock together. So if you take one shock absorber, then you have one, all the stress is going to be in that one, and then as it's a matter of time for her to break down. So also this happens with horses that's got too long of a postern that creates too much leverage and pull this suspensory ligament down because there's not enough support. So when this happens, they say it's degenerative, but it's not degenerative because every time that we put the support, this supposedly disease will stop. It's not a disease, because if it will be a disease, no matter what I put, what kind of shoes, support, wedges, whatever, it'll keep degenerating. It's just a matter of know what to do and take care of it. You can avoid it putting the support. If you have a horse that has bad conformation and you know about it, and then you put the support, and he will never break down. This horse already broke down when I see him. She was already down. She was already in the floor. They were swollen. All this, it was swollen. It was like a big chunk. You couldn't notice tendons, or you couldn't notice the hock or the fetlock. It was just a big chunk. We put these shoes. She got up, and that's it. You know, she's been healthy for the past 10 years. So if it will be degenerative, she'll be dead already. It wouldn't survive. So here is the proof that it's not a disease. It's not degenerative. It's stoppable if you got the knowledge. So we'll change the shoes. We'll put a reverse shoe, and I'll as we go. What I'm doing this to stop this degeneration.
A ver quién se lleva la bandera, si son los de casa o los de afuera. Palamero, sube a la palma, caramba.
See, when girls ask me what I do for a living, I do nails. They're like, really? Pretty big nails.
Madre, arelo, arelo, caramba, sí como no, caramba, oye en el suelo, caramba, sí como no, caramba, me voy al cielo. Madera del mismo pino, agua de la misma mar, tú aprendiste mi maestro, ¿cuánto me vas a ganar? Ahora. Mamá. Mamá. La Quilona, Celiao, que detona. María Manuela, la caporala, se fue a la plaza para trabajar. No vende caña, no vende azúcar y tiene plata para trabajar. María Manuela, la caporala, se fue a la plaza para trabajar. No vende caña, no vende azúcar y tiene plata para trabajar. Se fue a la plaza, compró cebolla, compró tomate y perejil. No sabe china, china mulata, la morotanga que no es de aquí. Se fue a la plaza.
So I'm punching holes right there on my tips, on my branches.
Yo tengo una botijuela que ya está por la piri 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 bra. Yo tengo una botijuela que ya está por la mitad, alright. Eso es. Juégalo, juégalo, juégalo. 8, 8, 16 y 24.
So as you see here, this mare is gaiting pretty comfortable. She's sound, she's not lame, and she's drug free. And she's 20 years old, and she broke down when she was 10 years old in 1995, and today's 2005. So she's had 10 very comfortable years on these kind of shoes. So here is the proof that with good shoeing, with good support, there is hope for horses that conformationally wise, they're not sound, to grow old. So with a little help, we can help them to, to get to, over 20 years or so. And this is one of a few horses that I have done with the same results. As we can see, she's totally broke down. Pasterns are in the ground, but she's pretty sound. Here in this picture, we can see a foal that is nursing. He adopts this position of tripod, and he puts all the weight in the insides of the hooves. These horses are not in the wild, so they're not walking 25-30 miles a day, and the pattern of growth and wear out, it's not even. We broke that pattern when he stabulate this horse. So what happened when this position is adopted, he's gonna wear out the insides more than the outsides. As you see, all the pressure is in the inside. So in order to compensate that, every 3 to 4 weeks we need to file the outside or lateral of the hoof in order to compensate that unevenness and make the hoof balance. In this other picture, we can see very closely and very good what I'm talking about. In the left hand side of the picture, that heel is lower than the right hand side of the picture. The left is the medial or the inside, and the right side of the picture is the outside or lateral part of the hoof. So as we can see, the laterals are higher than the medials. So that's what we need to compensate. We need to trim every month or so to compensate this. This is the result of having a bad session of trimmings when the horse is born. This horse is not being taken care of properly in his first 6 months of age, and as you can see, the knee doesn't align with the hoof. If you see, the purple line goes through the middle of the hoof and goes to the outside of the knee, and the black line will go through the middle of the knee and towards the inside of the hoof. In this last picture, we can see a properly trimmed horse when he was young. So you can see the middle of the knee aligns with the middle of the hoof, and that's what we want in order to have a sound horse in the future. So if we see here, if we notice, that lateral, that outside, is about a quarter of an inch higher. Vente de acá encima. Come here from this side is higher than this side. So let's we have to level that inside, cut that heel. See that heel, it's a little bruised because it start to grow forward and start folding over. See, because they're getting too long and they're putting the pressure on those heels. Now both are level.
Para agarrar la pata de atrás. Vale, vas a hacer. Ready.
See, these little heels, we need to get rid of them because they start growing forward, they start folding over, they start crashing, and the horse loses support. Instead of leaving the too much of a point to where the breakover is going to be to one side or the other side. You know, if it's too pointy, the breakover is going to be in the inside or outside. It's not going to be in the middle. So what I do is I nip that toe right there, and then I'm making the horse breaking over here in the center of that leg. So I'm doing here the same. Get rid of that heel. See, that heel is growing forward and it's crushing, it's going to collapse there. We need to trim the heel back off the hoof, more underneath the horse that we can. Level it up. There, even. Same here. See that tip start too long, start growing, start getting in the way. Nip right there in the middle. Ooh. So I'm going to make her break over right here instead of one side or to the other side if it's too pointy like this. It's not going to break in the middle of the tip. It's going to break to one side or the next or the other one. So now he's breaking over right here in the center of the leg.
There is an element of the suspensory ligament apparatus of the horse called interosseous that we commonly called its suspensory ligament. The interosseous is unique because developmentally it is a musculotendinous or muscle tendon structure. The vast majority of the muscle has been replaced by highly elastic tendinous or tendon tissue, so the interosseous is considered to function as a ligament even though technically it is not. The interosseous extends distally, or top to bottom, from the proximal palmar or high back section of the cannon bone to the proximal sesamoid bones, where it splits in two thicker sections, or lateral and medial, attaching each section with each of the two sesamoid bones. The interosseous job is to limit the dorsiflexion, or dorsal flexion, movement of the metacarpal phalangeal, or pasterns, joints, and also stores energy to use it as a spring as the horse bears weight on the limb. When a foal is born with too long of a pasterns, it will put extreme leverage stretching the interosseous so much that those pasterns are going to give up and collapse due to hypertension put by the leverage given by those long pasterns. Also, the muscle tissue is going to be replaced by the tendinous tissue with the interosseous stretched and larger than normal. Normal size interosseous is required for the normal and sound life of the horse. Otherwise, it is not going to be enough support to hold the weight of the horse, and eventually the interosseous will collapse. This horse is going to grow and live for the rest of its life in disadvantage due to this conformational fault, and is going to be vulnerable to suffer a crisis of desmitis, which is injury and or inflammation of the suspensory ligament apparatus if the horse is not managed wisely and properly.
Here I want to explain you what I do when I have a foal that is been born with too long of a pasterns and is stretching these interosseous to the point that it's longer than normal size. So as we can see here, these pasterns are too long, and you see the tips of the hoof, the toes are in the air pointing up to the sky. So what I do to release the pressure and the leverage put by these long pasterns into these interosseous, I put on these glue-on shoes with heel extensions and with a wedge to try to give him support and elevate the angle to put that interosseous into the normal size. Here, as we see, I glue on the shoes, and the horse it's a lot better. It got up. The pasterns are up, and the interosseous is gone down to the normal size, and it's gonna be all the process of this replacement of tissues is gonna happen with normal size suspensory ligament or interosseous instead of a large one. So as we see here, there is the foal here at 3 months old, and there is no problem with low pasterns or a stretch interosseous. This replacement of tissue has been done properly. So we have a horse that is not handicapped since he's born until he's die. He'll be okay to ride and to work and to show for the rest of his life if we take care of the trimming and the management of this horse properly. Here is the same horse at 2 years old, and as we see, everything is tight and pasterns are good, and he's very sound and running and doing very well.